Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bird Talk with Terrence Mathis. I'm William Brandon. Please make sure you subscribe to the Atlanta Sports Unlimited YouTube channel and turn
Yes.
on those notifications so you don't miss an episode. Now that Julio Jones is no longer an Atlanta Falcon, it's only right that Calvin Ridley slides up to that number one position. He spoke with the media this past week about the pressure and different things of what's expected out of him and what he expects. What do you think about that, Terrence?
Well, I think at the end of the day, becoming that number one receiver or being that dude, it kind of transcends organically. It's you can't self-appoint yourself that dude.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because there's so much that goes along with it. You got to be the right play calls, got to be put in the right situations. The ball has to get there. There has to be protection. What you got to beat your man. You got to get open in zones. So there's so many variants that goes with it that you can almost set yourself up for frustration because of the fact that you want to be the guy, and if it's not happening the way you want it to happen, you get frustrated and your play declines. Now he said, he's played with Julio, Sanu, and he's ready for this moment. He's saying all the right things, but at the end of the day, hey man, just sit back, relax, and let things come to you. Don't force it. Young guys, yeah, you're ready. Everybody is proclaiming you to be that dude, to be one of the top receivers in the league this year, whatsoever. Hey man, stop reading all that stuff. Stop looking at all that stuff. You just got to be the best that you can be, and then great things will happen. If you force it, you'll be frustrated. But Calvin has the potential to be that guy, to be that dude in the NFL. It's just that a lot of things that has to happen, and he just don't force it.
Yeah, Calvin, a lot of people forget because of the Julio trade that Calvin led our team, or led the Falcons, excuse me, in yards and touchdowns. Um, Julio didn't play a full 16 games
Right,
last year,
right,
so
right,
Ridley already had to kind of
right,
step up to bat,
right,
and he made some big plays
right,
last year.
right.
I like what I saw in the press conference. Like you say, it's just a lot
Mm-hmm.
of speak. You gotta see it, but his demeanor about him. He was asked a question, and he kind of smiled about the pressure, and he said, "No pressure, no
Right,
pressure at all."
right.
And I, like you say, you got to wait to see, but it
You got
feels
to see.
like he understands what's on the table, and he's ready to perform.
Well, this is what I like about this year's Falcon team is that you're seeing more charisma, more character from these guys in their press conference. You're not hearing the company line. Oh, we're gonna just play hard and hope to win. Oh, if everything works out right, we'll win. Or, oh, hey, it's guys starting to step up. Guys are starting to say what they believe and what they think.
Yeah,
They know that I think with this coaching staff, what they have done is said, hey man, if you work hard we're gonna be good. Instead of if you work hard, good things might happen. This staff is saying you work hard, good things will happen. Not might, will happen. And this is what I like about this new Falcons regime. And the thing is going back to Calvin's situation is this. You're right. He led the team in catches and yards last year. But here's the thing about the NFL. Now that Julio is gone, guess who defensive coordinators in the passing game is eyeing on right now?
yeah,
Calvin Ridley. So now understand this. Before there was game plan, how do we control Julio Jones, which gave Calvin Ridley chance more opportunities to be successful. Now we're going into this season, and now defensive coaches are going, okay, we have to focus on Calvin Ridley. Now, which guy's going to step up? Is it going to be Pitts? Is it going to be Cage? Is it going to be Hurst? Who is it going to be? Is it going to be Patterson? Who's it going to be? We have all these weapons. Who is it going to be to take the pressure off of Calvin so he can do the things that he can do and be successful? And that's the way it works in an offense. One guy doesn't make it happen. It takes two or three, especially at the receiver position, because if the guy on the other side is not doing his job, you're not going to get any balls. So he has the guy that plays on the other side of Ridley or next to Ridley going to have to take pressure off of him for him to be successful.
And when you say like the other side has to do his job so that Ridley can do his, what do you mean that as far as the play, he needs to make sure that he's running his route correctly,
But
blocking
here,
correctly to make.
here's the thing, because everything works in a pattern where you're trying to get your teammate open.
Yeah.
If you're trying to affect an area where it brings more coverage to you, where your partner can get open. And if the guy on the other side is not working hard, is not doing his job, is not being in his area, Calvin can't be successful. Or if they try to double Calvin or put coverage over to Calvin, the guy on the other side has to step up and make plays for them to balance out the coverage. So now all things are even. So that's what I'm saying. The guy on the other side has to do his job.
What kind of route runner do you think Calvin is?
He's probably the best route runner in the NFL,
Okay.
bar none. Him and Julio close. I think Calvin is a great route runner. One thing about I like to see Calvin take some catches and take it to the house. I like to see more of that, and I know he's working hard. I know he's in the weight room, getting bigger, getting stronger, so he can be more physical. And that's what I want to see out of Calvin. And if we can get those big plays from a slant and take it 60 yards, this offense is gonna be special.
Who do you think right now they would put at the wide receiver 2 position?
You know what? Here's the thing. You know,
And I know you've mentioned Kyle Pitts might
I
step in
keep
that role.
saying that's a possibility to see him out there 60 to 70% of the time playing wide receiver, because you got a dude that can get down the field, middle of the field, and Hurst, and then you got guys like Cage and a lot of those speed guys sitting back there. You got Darby, you got Patterson, so you got guys that can play that position and be successful. But for some reason, it's a matchup nightmare for teams if Kyle Pitts is playing outside. I'm telling you. And I think now you're going to have to roll coverage to his side, because this big dude over a 6-foot DB is going to dominate. So he's going to have help, which opens up things for Calvin. That's my game plan going into week 1 if I'm the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. What do you make of the surgery that Calvin had to have? I think it was an ankle that he had. They said it was some cleaning up. He said it transpired last season, so clearly it wasn't bad enough to take him out for the year.
Well, you know what? Ankles are tricky. Anything below the knee is tricky. Pretty much. Hopefully that he rehab well, that he'll be ready to go opening day in training camp whatsoever. We don't know. No one is really talking about it much. But my advice to Calvin is take your time. Yeah. Don't rush to get back. Make sure you're healthy, because this can linger on for a long, long time, and you don't want that.
Right now, it seems like they're in good hands with Arthur Smith and the coaching staff. What do you see with out of Arthur Smith early on? It's only OTAs and minicamp, but what do you like? What you're hearing from Coach?
His intensity. This is a different feel. I think these guys understand that for the first time in years that there's accountability, and there's that you are being held accountable to do your job, and if you don't do your job, you're gonna get replaced. And I think it's not a scare or a fear tactic. It's business. It's about business. Hey man, you gotta have to produce. There's no more let's just go through the motions whatsoever because I like you type thing. Hey, we're brotherhood. I'm gonna take care of you. All that's going. I think it's more like, hey, we get in your face. Each player holds each other accountable. Coaches hold coaches accountable. Coaches hold players accountable. Players hold coaches accountable. And that's what you need to be successful. And that's what I like about this team. You heard one of the offensive linemen this week that said Arthur Smith approaches a head coach like an offensive lineman, which I didn't understand that statement because I really didn't. But at the end of the day, I can kind of understand what he's trying to say, that he's hard-nosed grinder in the trenches type of coach. And that's what you want. You want a guy that's going to get in the trenches with you and not be apologetic for the things that he says and do to help you be better.
And that seems to be what's going around camp from all these player interviews. They're speaking about accountability and the different change around the atmosphere at Flowery Branch. Are they relating that to Raheem Morris? Or are they relating that to Dan Quinn? Are they saying that, it was just laid back with the
well,
let me stop it, because I always thought, I know he had the brotherhood and this, that, and a third, but I thought maybe Dan Quinn was a little hard nosed, but I guess he wasn't, because much as I see these players now talking about now they're held accountable, it just throws into question, were they not held accountable in the previous regime?
Well, you got to understand this, William, is that the organization starts from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And the top determines how everything flows downhill. So if the head of the organization is preaching, hey, togetherness, brotherhood, trying to sell a product that's clean and wholesome and pretty and vibrant, that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So, but once the head of the organization says, hey, I'm gonna trust my GM and my head coach to run this football program to make us successful, and step away from it. I'm talking about Arthur Blank and Rich McKay, allowing Fortno and Smith to run this football program, this football team. You're going to have a different feel. Have a different feel about it. It's Arthur Blank is a businessman, and he's been in the retail business where customer service was key. And now you have football coaches who feel that, hey, we're not going to be apologetic for the way we play and the way we talk, but when we're off the field, we're going to be respectful. But football is not a game of I'm sorry I hit you too hard. Hey, brother. Hey, we're talking. It's not about that. It's about, I'm going to hit you in the mouth, try to take you out of this game mentally. And then afterwards, we'll kumbaya in the middle of the field and pray and everything and swap jerseys and numbers. And I see you in the off season.
Yeah, I do hope they have a different attitude, a more hard-nosed, get in your face. Just from the fan perspective, I remember looking on the sidelines when the Falcons might have blew a lead or something, and Dan Quinn was as cool as a cucumber. He didn't really show any.
It was too much smiling. It was too much,
I didn't see any in your face. What is going on? What are you doing? Make plays, that type of ferocity.
And the thing is, here's the problem is this, and you can almost hold analysts and reporters accountable for this. If you see a player jumping on another player and it's, oh, he's upset, there's disagreement, there's a problem there, and no, he's in his face telling him, hey man, I need you to step up and do your job. And we need analysts and media people to stop turning into something like it's a conflict. You know what I'm saying? You don't even know what they're talking about, but you say it's a conflict already. Before you even say that, wait until after the game and find out what happened and what was said before you report about it.
Well, it's only a conflict if it's not like Tom Brady. If it's Tom Brady, he's doing leadership. Right. Tom Brady's in their face. He's a leader, and he's
anybody else's conflict. But Tom Brady, the golden child, he can curse and yell and spit and all that thing, and that's like, oh, he's a competitor. I like that fire. Let it be let it be Calvin or Mike Davis or Debo
Mhm.
or Grady. It's
Locker room
oh
cancer.
yeah, that's what it is. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So and that and I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but
yeah,
here's a thing where there's been talk about, do the sports media treat black athletes, report on black athletes different than white athletes?
yes.
Yes, they do.
Hmm.
They do. And but it is what it is. And but we're gonna move on from that topic. That's for another day.
Yeah, it is, but I will say it is important for journalists to be honest and forthright and have an open lens when you're writing, not to look at one or the other and say,
Right,
"Oh, he's a leader, and this one is a problem,"
right, right.
because they're both doing the same
Same
thing.
thing.
They're both doing the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, I've always missed that on the sideline. So, and Arthur Smith, I don't know necessarily that he's in your face, but he seems to be no BS type of guy. Like
Well, and that's the thing. I I
he's
I
just going,
I truly think that he's when we talked about Arthur Smith in the past, I truly think he reads the book of the old school coaches.
mhm.
I'm gonna coach you hard. I'm gonna love you hard, but I do respect you and love you. I think that when they leave the locker room, there's a different mantra, a different attitude that you have to bring to the practice field and the game field. And then when it's all over with, uh, there's a different type of respect and love and admiration when you're off the field. So at the end of the day, a coach has to do his job to get his players mentally prepared and physically prepared to be successful on that football field. So he's going to do everything necessary that he feels that's going to help his team win football games. Now, he only can do that by trial and error.
Mhm.
And that's okay, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? Does this work? Then once he finds what works best for his football team, that's what he uses. And he has to be that way all the time. Any change, the players look at him sideways like, what's going on with you? So you got to continue with the trust. So whatever he's doing now, these players are trusting him. And trust leads to football wins.
I know you're familiar with Dean Pease. What about the other coordinators? Marquise Williams, special teams, Dave Ragone, offensive coordinator. You got any thoughts on these guys?
What special teams wise is this is that um, you know, Marquise has been around.
Mhm.
He understands football. He understands special team whatsoever. And I think he just got to find the best players to that has a good football IQ and understand everything that is expected of them on the special teams for them to be successful. They got a good returner in Patterson. So hey, you got to put guys on there that's willing to sacrifice for the good of the for the unit, and that's what makes a great special teams is a coach finding guys that will give it up for the unit.
Yeah.
And Ragon, far as a coordinator, you got Arthur Smith right there that's going to guide you, and he's going to prepare you, and he's gonna set you up for success. So all you have to do is make sure you cross all the T's and dot all the I's, and make sure uh, your system um, fits your players. And let me talk about that a little bit. You can put the best system in place, but if the players are uncomfortable in that system, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: you have to have a system to start with, so everybody on the same page. But here's my philosophy: once game starts and we start the system, and say it's Calvin Ridley, and he's hot, system out the way, out the window. I'm getting the ball to Calvin Ridley until you stop him. Everybody else might be upset that they're not touching the ball, but I'm doing what's good for the team for us to be successful. Because guess what? Week 3 or 4, Mike Davis, you may be hitting it 5 or 6 yards a pop.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it to you until they stop you. Same with Kyle, same with Hurst, same with anyone else. But the system has to be in place for everybody to be on the same page.
So do you think that Ragone is going to be calling the plays and he's going to maybe go through Arthur Smith, or how do you think they're going to work in conjunction? Or
Well, I think Ragone is going to call plays. I think they're going to collaborate during the week to see what's best fit. And I'm sure Arthur's going to have a call sheet on his waist. And I can see it being a situation where they collaborate on the sidelines at times. But I think Ragone is going to be the one calling the plays.
before game day, typically when a team does a walkthrough, do you, when it comes to game day, do you already have an idea of the plays y'all going to go about, or are you kind of in a gray area until Chris Chandler or whoever relays the play to you?
By Friday, it's done. It's done. It's wrapped up.
Okay.
Everything is in. And right now, walkthrough is just to make sure that some things that you put in new, that you're on top of whatsoever. Make sure you understand blitzes, coverages, whatsoever, where everybody's supposed to be, line, all those things. By Friday, it's in and it's done with. So by the time you get to game, you already know. For instance, I already know what play we may start with on the opening play.
Okay.
It depends on field position or whatsoever. We already know. On third down, no matter what the situation is, I know if it's 3rd and 7 plus, I know there's only going to be 4 plays that we're going to run. If it's 4 to 7, I know there's 4 plays we're only going to run.
Okay.
Anything less than 4 yards, I know there's 4 plays we're going to run. So you're already prepared in your mind that there's going to be one of those 12 plays on third down that's going to be called in the situation. So you're prepared when it's called, and you already know what coverage you're going to get because you already did the analytics on what they're going to give you. So you already know what you're going to get. So all right, here's this play is going to work in this situation at this time. So it's a lot goes into it, but you gotta be smart. This is like going to school.
I know you did special teams earlier on, and the Falcons last season. They had that blunder against the Cowboys. Is that something like y'all would practice? Like a
Oh yeah, that's practice.
How does
Yeah,
that happen?
yeah, that's talked about. That's practice whatsoever. I think just that the players at that moment, it was a big moment. It was one of those situations where they all sit back and say, "You make the play. No, you make the play. No, you make. I don't want to make that play. If I muff that." So they were looking around, waiting for another one to make the play, and instead of deciding upon yourself, I'm gonna make this play and win this football game.
Well, for instance, back in like I said, in your special teams days, did y'all practice and coach might be like, "Hey, Terrence, you get the ball regardless. If you see it in the air, I need you to go meet it at the point of contact."
Yeah, yeah. We had a situation when I was with the Jets, and it was an onside situation,
Mm-hmm.
and the ball was uh, I was the back guy, and the ball was kicked, and it was kicked high, but it landed in front of me because I couldn't get to it. So as it bounced, I knew I couldn't get it because it was high.
Yeah.
So what I did was knocked it out of bounds.
Oh yeah. Smart play.
So, coach, we talk about those things. If you can't get it, knock it out of bounds. Get on it, roll, everybody cover you, whatsoever. We work on those things. We talk about those things. So for that situation to happen, were the miscommunication that week, or was it miscommunication before they went out to line up? So I don't know, but that should have never happened.
Yeah, that's wild. I just being that we got a new special teams coordinator, I'm sure that.
Oh, I bet you that was the first thing they went over.
Yes. Exactly. Because oh man, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And of course, Dean Pease. I mean, we spoke about him earlier, so I think we kind of know what we're getting with him. He's also fits that mold that Arthur Smith wants of the hard nose accountability.
Well, every picture you see him in practice, he's never smiling. It looks like a grumpy old man.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, these players truly admire him and respect him, and they're gonna play hard for him because of his pedigree.
Mm.
So the thing is that like I said, the quicker you can trust each other, the better you're gonna be. So right now, it looks like this Falcons team trusts this coaching staff. I think this is what they needed after the brotherhood era. That's the best
Yes.
way to put it. I think this is what they needed. I think they needed a kick in the butt, a pull of the collar, a slap at the back of the head. I think this is what they needed.
I guess they're going to remove all that stuff in the stadium. Said brotherhood, I presume.
Well, I would,
Yes.
I would. I think this is new. This is a new day, and
Mm-hmm.
this is a new day. You coming off of COVID. It's a new beginning, a new day. You just got to start fresh. You got to get all that old stuff. You got to detox yourself from that and move forward.
I know. I'm not saying I want one, but I'm just curious what kind of slogan are they going to come up with? Because I'm sure their marketing or somebody has something.
I don't know. I think it's going to be accountability. I think it's going to be accountability. Um, you know, that we had that in 98. We had accountability. And we didn't care if you was a 10-year vet, 20, 15-year vet. We didn't care if you was Morton Anderson, Cornelius Bennett, Jesse Tuggle, whoever you were. We were, hey man, you don't make a play, we let you know. Hey man, you gotta make that play. Come on. In practice, come on, man. You gotta get there. Come on. Come on. And that's how we were. Ray, if he get beat in practice, I'm like, hey man, that can't happen. If I drop a ball in practice, they tell me, T, you can't do that. That can't happen. And we held each other accountable. And there was never no argument. There was no cursing at each other. There was no one to fight each other. It was like, I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. And that's the respect we had for each other. And if this team can garnish that same respect, they're gonna do great things.
All right. You got anything else for us today, Terrence?
No, you know what? Today I got a generalized broad throwback for you. I'm just gonna say two things.
Yeah.
One name, and that's it. Vic. That's your throwback. Michael Vick is a throwback by himself. The highlights that he's given us, given us here in Atlanta is, oh my God, is second to none. And you can say, well, you can hold it and say, well, what about Dion? Or what about this? At a quarterback position, he was a human highlight film. It was like playing Madden on Sundays. That's who Michael Vick was. He was the human highlight film. I'm not taking it. I'm Dominique. I'm not taking nothing from you.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying he was the human football highlight film. How about
He
that?
was. Yeah. Seeing him in person seeing him on TV is one thing, but in person was just mind blowing.
Yeah.
To see someone outrun all these top athletes that are all fast, because everybody's fast in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And to see a quarterback, I see him play Carolina one time and just broke loose and cut down the sideline, tiptoed and ran it in the house. And it was like a 40-yard, 50-yard run. It was just.
No, I remember his rookie year. He comes in the second half in Miami. He comes into the second half, replaces Chris Chandler because Chris got hurt. And I remember a particular play. He dropped back the pass. He gets to scrambling. The defensive tackle has him in a bear hug. And he drops his weight and shrugs him off. And the D tackle flies. And he throws a strike for a touchdown. I said, oh, I was like, unbelievable. We just kept watching it on the screen like, that's just unbelievable. And we knew right away this kid was going to be special.
Does he throw a ball hard as everybody says he does?
Yeah, he does. It gets there. It's not really hard. It just gets there in a hurry. He has one of the quickest releases that's ever been at the quarterback position. It just gets there in a hurry.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks for sharing with us.
Yeah.
Well, again, folks, thank you for always tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and get us those questions in. I didn't have any to pull from this week, So please make sure you get us questions and comments. We're only a couple weeks away from training camp.
Yes.
So let's get to
I'm
it.
looking forward to that, man. I'm looking forward to training camp.
Yeah.
Now we get training camp, we get to see who this team really is. And I'm looking forward to talking about that.
Less than 2 months away before the first preseason game, people.
Yes.
Football is right here. It's right upon us. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a good day.